Hello everyone, welcome back to the Superhero Show. Now, we weren't here last week and we got a little bit of feedback on that, didn't we, Chris?
Yeah, we did.
Nothing really happened last week, it was only Comic Con.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take responsibility for this. I was away. You were supposed to do one. Nothing to do with me.
But then we got to a position where it was like, we pre-record, we're just going to look hopelessly out of touch running on Comic Con Saturday, not knowing anything that had happened.
Yes, you should have come in. Do you want to read out the emails on that front?
Yes.
Or Amanda Carr wrote in and said, I'm very sad that you didn't have a show this week, or that I can't find it at least.
Sorry, Amanda.
Sorry, Amanda.
Sorry, Amanda.
His fault.
And George also said, did you guys take a week off to cover the Republican National Convention? Did you?
That's what I was doing.
So what
Did you
you
not know
doing?
that? Yeah.
How was it?
I'm a big Republican.
How was it? Good this year?
Yeah,
Good
it was
one,
great.
good
I
one.
mean, I'm a big Scott Bio fan. That's why I was there.
Did you get any good merch?
Yeah.
Sweet, nice.
I got a Trumpet.
Did you? Nice. So Chris had a lovely time, but last week was Comic Con, and we got a load of trailers this year because they released them simultaneously from at least the Warner Brothers panel.
Yeah.
Marvel more secretive, but they brought loads of stuff to the show as well. But specifically, we're going to talk about, at least at the beginning of the show, is the Wonder Woman trailer, because I think it's the one that unanimously people really liked out of the convention. Like, there's great reception on Twitter, and I was a big fan of it. And we were going to talk about why we think she might be their secret weapon in the DC universe. Obviously, BVS, very mixed reception. Suicide Squad out in a couple of years. But Wonder Woman could be their secret weapon going forward. They're beating Marvel. Captain Marvel, their kind of female-led superhero movies, a couple of years away.
Yep.
They announced Brie Larson as casting, but is Wonder Woman the one to look forward to?
Maybe. I mean, what did you like about the trailer, Dan? That's what
What did I like about it? I think, I think it looked incredibly stylish. Like, the action looked amazing where they're fighting on the beach. I like the woman who has a weird prosthetic face. There's some really great images in that trailer. The action looks fantastic. She looks incredible. But it also looks like there's a real story there. Like, her entering the world. It's like a classic. It's almost like, you've seen it in Thor and the fish out of water thing.
That's what it's called.
But it looks, I don't know, I think it just looks very stylish, and it also looks like there's a decent amount of character work in there.
Yep. It was nice that there was some colour as well.
Yeah.
Because they've been quite drab and grey, the Zack Snyder movies, and I think
Still, her costume does have that, but there's still a bit of that blue-green colour correction going on.
Yeah, and World War One, but I think it nicely, is a nice contrast with the World War One, the greyness of that, with her colours of her outfit. Obviously, she's a feminist icon, and I really liked the little just empowering moments they put in there. And I think as long as it's not overdone,
that's the thing.
I don't know. Well, I didn't get that sense from the trailer. I thought it was, that sense of fun they brought to it, and I liked the look of the action. I found the trailer a bit frustrating because it was that trailer way of lots of quick cuts, where it looked like potentially those are some scenes where the camera's going to follow her in a single take, going through a battlefield or through a village surrounded by soldiers and taking everyone out, and that could be really cool. There was a few bits of Snyderish slow motion, but then there was some really fast action that looked like it had, great. She was sort of landing blows with great impact, and that got me kind of excited.
Yeah, and also she is supposed to be the greatest fighter in the DC universe, and she has loads of different types of weapons. So there's an opportunity for there to be really distinctive choreography, like we've not seen before. With the lasso, it looks really interesting. Obviously, we've seen shields in Captain America, but she also has a sword. There's lots of variety there, so hopefully they take full advantage of that as well in the action scenes.
Yeah, and I think Superman's my favourite superhero, but the last two movies have made me less excited about him and less interested in him. And the next standalone Superman movie, I won't be as eagerly anticipating as I would have done previously. And Batman, we're yet to see what's going on with Batman. We seem to be, the Batman that we met in Batman v Superman seems to be different to the one we're going to meet in Justice League. His attitude and his kind of joking manner. So I don't know how I'm feeling about Batman right now. We'll know a bit more with Suicide Squad. So there is something to be said. She's going to be the first female superhero, the first one out of the gate. There's going to be so much interest that, if you'd said to me last year that Deadpool was suddenly going to become Fox's most important superhero, I wouldn't have believed you. Wolverine has always had that role, and that's completely changed now. And I wonder if, there's the potential for Wonder Woman to become the number one. If they get this right.
Absolutely. I think it's something that we've seen so many incarnations of Superman and Batman over the years. This feels exciting and new. And even in the comics, Wonder Woman's origin story there isn't really a definitive version. It's kind of chopped and changed. This is their opportunity to really define that origin for a mass audience. This will be the embodiment of that character that young boys and girls will grow up with. So it's really important. And yeah, I think the sense of the unknown of this character could really play in their favour. Also, it's got Dawn from The Office in it.
Dawn from The Office, yeah, playing Etta Candy.
Etta Candy, what's the secretary? That's a good. She delivers the punchline to the trailer very well. I thought.
So that may what is it with the punchlines at the end of all these trailers that I was moaning about over Twitter?
Why are you angry about this? Do you not like laughter?
Just because it seemed like both the DC ones did it, and then Doctor Strange did it, but I think they had a bit more action at the end. But also, I felt like for me, the jokes didn't quite land. Like maybe they'll be better within context. And it just seems like a weird way to exit your trailer with something silly rather than a jaw-dropping moment. And maybe it's pretty early for these films, so maybe they don't have those things locked down yet. But I just like, is this it now? Are we just going to have gags at the end of every big trailer? I wasn't happy.
So that's what we think about Wonder Woman. Let us know, superheroShow@ign.com. But obviously there's loads of stuff at Comic-Con, so let's touch on that briefly. Is there anything else that really got your attention?
I thought it was really amazing seeing 5 black people on stage for the Black Panther. It's the first time that's happened. Yeah, and it's such a cool cast as well. But it was something, it's a really important moment, I think, in comic book movie history. But yes, learning that Michael B. Jordan's the villain, that girl from Walking Dead's going to be one of the badass warriors. Just everything about it. Just
Lupita Nyong'o might be a baddie.
Oh, really?
Possibly. That's a theory going on that she might be.
And Michael B. Jordan, playing Killjoy, that's having him and Chadwick Boseman go toe to toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's going to be such a badass film. So that I was really sort of up for that.
Yeah.
How about you?
What did I really, really like? I really liked the Doctor Strange trailer. That pressed a lot of my buttons. I think it's spectacular. I'm sick of people saying it looks like it's like Inception. Like
look at his face. He's really pissed off.
It's such a weak criticism. Like it's not like the thing that's in Inception, which is a bit like a city folding.
Yeah.
Is that overused anyway? And it's like that's in one scene in that movie. I think it's just such an easy criticism.
Yeah, I think the problem is though that's been kind of the money shot in both trailers.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a huge amount different to this trailer from that one, and so I guess people are worried. Is this going to be the big thing? Because it happens a couple of times in Inception.
I think they're holding back also stuff in the movie where there'll be more monsters and other dimensions. I think you're seeing like the set piece at the end. What I think is really cool at the end is they're obviously in a reality that people in New York can't perceive, because when the world's kind of folding on itself, it seems like Strange and Mordor are affected by the gravity shifting, where you can also see pedestrians like they don't even know if anything's going on. Similarly, when he stood on the side of the building, you can see cars driving like normal. So it's almost like this incredible battle's happening in New York, but the everyday people of New York aren't even seeing it. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And also like they're having a fight, and instead of the city being destroyed around them, they're using magic to fix it. That's really cool as well. So I'm looking forward to that being a different type of Marvel movie, hopefully.
Yeah, and as I said, I hope they're holding quite a lot back, and as you said, I think there might be more to come from that film that we don't really know about.
Yeah. Justice League. So they allowed press to go on a set visit early. They allowed them to release what they saw on set early.
Yeah.
And they've almost created this trailer early for Comic-Con, because this is like a bunch of scenes that they've put together to create an asset really early on, to set tone, and again, like I guess to realign the messaging for the movie. And it's very light-hearted. It's kind of a recruitment movie. Going around, you're introing all these characters, some more in depth than others. What did you think of it?
I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah.
I thought a couple of the jokes didn't really land. It just felt like it was quite early to do that. It seems to be damage limitation time at DC from what happened with Batman v Superman, and to convince everyone, yeah, we know you want fun, this is going to be fun, but it didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
I thought the gag at the end was weak. I didn't love Flash as much as everyone else seems to be loving, saying that he's going to be the saviour of this film. The guys that went on the set saw a scene with him in and said he was brilliant, and it seems
like it was that scene.
Oh, was it?
I think it was that scene.
So yeah, he's a smart aleck kid. kind of like Quicksilver, actually, in X-Men he reminded me of a little bit. And you know what, when I saw early stuff of Quicksilver, didn't like him, but he's been the best thing in those two films. So yeah, you know, it's a long way off to judge it right now, but it didn't make me think, well, they've sorted it all out now.
Yeah, I think I definitely like the look of it. It looks like a fun movie and enjoyable. Whether I think it would be good based on that, I'm looking forward. I think it'll be a fun movie to watch. Whereas I didn't think BVS was fun for large. No,
and not that they
passages.
have to be fun either. The point is, like, I haven't got a problem with Batman v Superman, as we've said a million times. I haven't got a problem with it not being funny or fun. It just didn't get things right. You know, story-wise, and it's more that the problem. I don't need to be full of jokes.
My problem with the Justice League trailer is he throws a batarang at his head, and then afterwards, when he catches it, he goes, "Oh, so you're fast." Did he not know that when he threw a batarang at his face? Like, it's something he should know.
I think he'd made an informed decision. Before
what if his power was like he's just smart, killed him?
Another thing, well, Guardians of the Galaxy is still the superhero franchise I'm most excited about. It's the film I'm most looking forward to, and the fact that they announced Sylvester Stallone, that's pretty cool. I love Sylvester Stallone as well, so I'm really happy about that.
James Gunn is just getting to do whatever he wants.
He's living the dream.
Also, they confirmed that who Star-Lord's dad is, but not in the movie. Do you think that's kind of weird that they chose to, like, usually that would be a revelation in the movie itself, but they've tried to, do they just think it's going to leak, or?
Yeah, I think it had gotten to a point where, well, everyone kind of knew.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those where they were like, it's not going to be some big twist, I guess.
They also revealed his identity, like he's Ego, human planet.
Yeah.
Well, humanoid planet.
Yeah. He's Ego, but not Ego, because he's obviously not going to be the size of a planet. He's not going to be a planet with a face. So no, that'll be really interesting.
It's going to be like the moon in the Mighty Boosh. That's how they've done it.
He's got quite an interesting story, Ego, and it'll be fun to see how they twist that into whatever they need to do for their movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good casting as well, because Star-Lord is like a young, you know, you pick Kurt Russell's characters from back in the 80s, and he is like, you could see Kurt Russell playing that role.
Yeah.
So I was just pleased to see that, you know, that's really happening. And the Spider-Man footage, again, we didn't get to see it, but I mean, everyone seemed to like what they saw.
Do you see the cast posing for photos for Entertainment Weekly afterwards, recreating poses from like the Breakfast Club?
Oh, I haven't
just
seen
to
that.
really
That's
establish what they're going for, just to really underscore it.
But people said that the footage they showed did seem like it was from a John Hughes movie, and I've seen some people be critical of that. But again, it's a different. We want these films to have their own identity, and I grew up loving John Hughes films.
Oh, the description of the Spider-Man footage seems like spot on. He's in class watching himself on YouTube fight Giant Man.
Yeah. That's
so good. That's so good.
Really good.
That's like a world away from Peter Parker using Bing in Amazing Spider-Man.
What about the TV stuff?
But yeah, like Netflix came to Comic-Con when usually they debut their stuff at New York Comic-Con later in the year. And yeah, we got trailers for loads of stuff. We got the full Luke Cage trailer, which was okay. Like, it wasn't that much in it.
No.
And I guess maybe he's not that impressive a hero to look at because he's like strong and he's just wearing a hoodie. But I like the music choice in it, and I am looking forward to that show. But the trailer didn't do much.
But with the Netflix shows, it hasn't been about the powers anyway.
Yeah.
It's more about the plot, and I think they know everyone's on board. So
yeah, we actually got Iron Fist footage as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
because I reckon that's going to be a bit more special effecty if they use his powers. And then a Defenders teaser as well, which was no more than like the logos coming together to make a new logo.
Yeah, is that the one where they use Nirvana, Come As You Are?
Yeah.
Interesting choice. And the Legion trailer. What do you think of the Legion trailer?
It's so weird that is a Marvel TV show.
But it's done by the dude that did Fargo, which is my favourite TV show of last year.
But it looks like a really high-class proposition.
Yeah,
but
it's got Fargo has that weirdness to it, and obviously, judging from that trailer and particularly the Bollywood moment, it feels like it's going to have this weirdness that's going to, again, set it apart maybe from what...
Because you just watch that and not know it, and then at the end it's like, Marvel, what? Yeah, some more TV stuff that in our feedback we'll get onto in a minute. But I think it was a pretty good Comic-Con.
It was okay. I didn't think it was amazing.
Hated it.
I was gutted I wasn't there, but I didn't feel like I'd missed anything too.
Well, that's the thing, because with the Suicide Squad trailer leaking, I think Warner Brothers took that decision to release all their assets simultaneously.
Yeah, which is smart, but like I didn't think there was a moment like, you know, that getting the Avengers on stage for the first time, or you know, that if that Justice League footage had been a bit more exciting, or, you know, when they announced Batman, that Man of Steel 2 was going to be BVS, I didn't think there was quite that moment of real excitement. But I think the other thing I'm most excited about, which we mentioned before, is the casting of Brie Larson as well, just because I'm a massive fan of hers, and so again I think they're just getting it right.
If you look at all of the actors in the Marvel movies, they've done a hell. Like, there's some really top quality actors in there.
Yeah.
Not just stars, like really top quality, top draw actors.
Well, there's no one that you can think of that you don't think was right for the role. There's been a couple of villains that haven't worked.
Yeah.
But in terms of casting the actual superheroes, I think it's all been really spot on so far.
Oh, the one thing I do want to see from Comic-Con that I don't think they've released, I want to see this short comedy movie with Thor by Taika Waititi, where he moves in with an Australian flatmate.
Yeah.
Sounds really, really funny.
Really funny.
Why have they not released that? Definitely want to see that.
Don't need to.
Feedback time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the first one.
Do.
This is from Mark. This is all about the Suicide Squad age rating in the UK. I've just found out that the Suicide Squad classification is going to be a 15, not a 12, like all the other Batman-related films. As a father of a 12-year-old boy, both him and myself are extremely disappointed by this. But I can't understand how the level of violence or threat in Suicide Squad can be any worse than The Hunger Games, for example, which was only a 12 certificate. Surely with a bit more care in editing, this film could have made the 12 certificate. Now it hasn't. I do worry that it will affect box office takings.
I can see two sides of this, but I don't have a son or a daughter
that you know of.
So I'm not thinking about it in those terms. So it's interesting to have it from that point of view. But the Suicide Squad deals with quite adult themes, especially if we're going to go into the Joker Harley Quinn relationship.
I think sexual violence is definitely one of the things that takes it into 15.
And if they're going to do right by these characters, they need to be able to tell the stories as they want without having to walk them down for children. And I think we're getting to a place now where we should be able to have an 18 rated Batman, a 15, a 12, a PG, you know, a different versions for different audiences. You know, Justice League will definitely be PG, I'm sure of that. Whereas this one, they've gone 15. I think, we've moaned before about them watering down these characters and these storylines and the violence. I think there should be versions for everyone now.
Yeah, I think it will be this incarnation of the Joker, because there'll be torture with his relationship with Harley Quinn. That's domestic abuse, psychological manipulation. I think those things, they're not violence per se, perhaps like physical violence, but those things will take it into that 15.
I almost want it to be an 18, you know. We've said before we want to see 18 rated superhero movies, if it's right for the story. But it may affect the box office, but if they make a good movie, they make a good movie. They did that with Deadpool and it was no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. This is the thing, though. If your kid's a fan of Batman, it's frustrating if you're not going to be able to see the new Batman movie.
It's like I really wanted to see Mrs. Doubtfire when I was little, and that was originally a 15, I think, or a 12, and then they edited it similar.
What, they edited it for the cinema?
Yeah, well, originally it was going to be a 15, I think, and then obviously realised that it would like really damage its box office, so they re-edited the movie to bring it down so families could see it.
Weird,
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Weird.
Very similar to the Suicide Squad.
This is from Kgel or Kel. Sorry about not pronouncing that right.
From
Belgium. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm saying international listeners.
At Comic-Con, Marvel announced that Ghost Rider will be in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4. I think this is a mistake. If you look at the quality of Marvel shows on Netflix, Ghost Rider will get a better treatment adaptation on Netflix. What are our thoughts? What are your thoughts, Daniel Cooper?
Every time we've talked about Ghost Rider, we've always said that we imagined he'd be in a film, or if not a film, Netflix, because we've always worried about the budget to bring him to life. For it to then go to S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm even more like unsure of what that's going to look like. And yeah, I've not watched the most recent season of S.H.I.E.L.D., but like how that show's going to absorb him.
Like I said, I don't know if they have any less of a budget on S.H.I.E.L.D. than the Netflix
more episodes.
shows. There are more episodes, yeah. But the effects are pretty good, though.
Yeah,
they have more special effects than the Netflix shows. Yeah, I don't know. It remains to be seen, I guess.
But it's interesting that they've given them that character, like what the internal politics of that are, like whether that show said like we need a thing to like boost ratings or to reinvigorate the show? Because obviously they've dabbled, flirted with this Inhuman storyline for several years. Like, who makes that decision? Because obviously him going to S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of revealed that he wasn't being worked up elsewhere. Because I think if they're going to debut him there, I can't imagine that character going back into the films anytime soon. Yeah,
but you say that. I'm sure I read, now I've not kept up with everything because I was away during Comic-Con, that something in Doctor Strange is going to open the door for Ghost Rider to be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's going to be some kind of connection.
Well, that'd be interesting
between them. So
it'd be cool to see them coordinate more. But like they've all said that all these showrunners, it's just a logistical nightmare because of the shooting schedules and like the writing schedules. That everything is out of kilter, so you can do really broad strokes, but anything more nuanced is just. It's impossible.
So if that's right, and don't quote me on it, it can go the other way and it might open the door for him then to appear in the movies.
Sweet. Final email. This is from Stephen. Stephen's email is amazing. So we obviously like clarity on the superhero show in terms of feedback.
We do.
Like, it don't get much more clear than this.
Colour coordinated.
Colour coordinated, bullet points.
I mean, large typeface. Almost, some would say too large. I don't know. We might not.
I wouldn't be one of those people.
No, we wouldn't, but some people would.
So, although I'm looking forward to Netflix stuff from Marvel Guardians Volume 2, as well as everything else too long to list, I found myself most excited by the Justice League teaser. However, since I've finally seen BVS this week, I did notice a few similarities that concern me slightly that is going to follow a similar pattern to BVS. One, a superhero who yet again has no idea who Bruce Wayne is. Why does no one know who Bruce Wayne is, even though he's very famous?
Yeah.
More casual alcoholism. Aquaman gets pissed and walks into the sea.
What's he drinking? Maybe
Jack Daniels.
Maybe it's just Lucasade in that.
But that's the thing. Is funny. Is like I like the idea that he gets drunk and then stumbles onto land pissed. Quite like that.
Someone messaged me about sent me a gif of that on Twitter saying that it was quite sexy. All the salty froth splashing on him as he walks to the sea.
Enough of that. Thank you. Number 3, another hero suggested to be a murder happy. So I thought of this as well. Aquaman, king of the sea, lover of all sea creatures, has no issue luring his friends to be eaten by humans. Because like Bruce Wayne turns up, he goes, I've heard this legend of this man who comes to this village and brings you fish to eat. Why is he doing that?
Why would you do that, Aquaman?
How's that going down back in Atlantis?
That's a really good point. In Atlantis, it's considered genocide.
He comes back all drunk. What have you been doing? Right, 4, it looks as there will be a lot going on. Yeah, but like, if well told, that's fine, I think. Because there's that flashback sequence in the trailer, actually, where you can see some people burying a mother cube, and they almost like, I don't know, like, almost look like Norse gods in a weird way. They're wearing crowns and stuff. So it's like this ancient race of people burying a mother cube in a forest. 5, this is a good thing though. It looks like Batman will definitely be Batman. So kind of, he's still on board with that.
I was going to say he's Bruce Wayne, isn't he?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. So Batman will be Batman. Yeah. I mean, it looks like Ben Affleck is nailing it, doesn't it?
Which looks good. Like he's the central figure.
I was one of the naysayers, I think. Yeah.
Were you saying nay?
Yeah, I was saying nay. I wasn't sure because there's just a smugness I found in some Ben Affleck's performances that I was worried, and I see it a little bit. But to be honest, no, I think he's doing a good job. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see that, but I'm almost more excited to see him directing his own Batman movie.
Yeah, definitely. So that's it from the Superhero Show this week. If you have feedback on anything...
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Salty Froth. All things superhero related, let us know, superheroShow@IGN.com. Until next week, for everything on DC, Marvel and all the rest, stay right here on IGN.